Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to Remember 11, The Age of Infinity. It's been a little bit. It's been about a week since I've recorded. Maybe actually about 2 weeks since I've last recorded. Gonna hopefully be back into it a little bit more. Part of the reason is this thing right here. I don't know if you can read that. That says caffeine free. And less sugary than many of the drinks I've been drinking in the past. So I'm trying to get a little bit healthier. And it's killing me. It's killing me inside. It'll make me healthy even if it kills me. Guess if you're dead, you don't have to worry about any sort of illness. So, somewhat it makes sense. Not enough sense. Kind of creepy. But, yeah. So, no caffeine has really been kind of... that was weird. Wasn't pointing down at something. That was kind of weird. No caffeine! Anyway, I have never heard of quantum teleportation. So, heard of quantum mechanics. I'm guessing they're mechanics who fix quantums or something. Heard of quantum theory. I'm sure that has something to do with it, thinking about the mechanics. So, let's say I haven't, so he can demonstrate the teleportation thing.
なるほど。まずはそこから説明しなければならないか。量子テレポーテーションとは量子力学の性質を利用した技術のことだ。
Quantum mechanics. I used the phrase and thing from it.
テレポーテーション。物体をそっくりそのまま別の場所に転送させる現象。いや、物体を転送というのはちょっと語弊があるな。正確には物体を転送するのではなく、物体の情報を転送する。物体そのものを転送する必要はない。送りたいのは状態の情報であって、状態自体ではない。
Let's go ahead and check out the details. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what quantum means exactly. It has something to do with physics. The smallest unit of a physical quantity which can be expressed using values limited to a set of integers within a certain range rather than continuous values. In 1900, Max Planck proposed the idea of a quantum energy to quantum hypothesis that spawned the beginning of quantum theory. Subsequently, Albert Einstein suggested the existence of light quantum, photon, and Niels Bohr demonstrated the angular momentum quantum. Okay. I was wondering about when it was saying something about the smallest unit of a physical quantity. So, is quantum kind of like a fruit? Or kind of like fruit? The word is in apples and bananas and pears, or fruits, or atoms and photons and other ons. Quarks. Quark is a word, isn't it? Quark is a thing. Are those all quantums? Is that what they're saying? The smallest unit of a physical quantity. So yeah. Wait, aren't atoms made out of something? Yeah, atoms are made out of photons, aren't they? Oh my gosh, I did not do very good in physics, by the way. I think I made a C. One of the lower... Shh. One of the lower grades I made in school. Shh. I did okay on the sciences when it had to do with stuff like... Well, biology was a bit of a problem too. There was that part one time when I had to digest a shark, which was cool. Then I had to know all the parts of the shark. That I think I made like a 40 on or something. I mean, it was all like muscles and bones and organs and stuff. You know, so somebody with a horrible memory, that was not good. Oh, there's one inside of that. Okay. Quantum mechanics, the study of molecules, atoms, and subatomic particles. Okay, I think I did get it right. Cool. In short, the dynamics of matter and energy on a microscopic level. It introduced the principles of the Schrödinger equation. Oh my gosh. Schrödinger needs to get his hand out of all these so-called cookie jars that either have cookies in them or don't have cookies in them. He's got his hands in all this stuff. He needs to get them out. But they're not already in there. Obtained from observation, postulated the wave-particle duality of matter, and explained the uncertainty relationship in measurements. I noticed there was a second page. I almost didn't. Quantum mechanics serve as the theoretical foundation of modern physics, which concerns particles as well as particle bodies. Additionally, it paved the way for the development of the physical atomic theory, elementary particle theory, and the field theory. Science was shook. I hope you guys are enjoying that. Schrödinger equation, aka the wave equation. In quantum mechanics, the Schrödinger equation is a differential equation that describes the changes over time in the quantum state of a system. It can be shown formally that evolution of the wave function is given in the equation by the Hamiltonian operator, not just the Hamilton operator, but the Hamiltonian operator, which corresponds to the total energy of the system. Yeah, the Hamiltonian operator. Yeah, that makes total sense. Also, if you say equation so many times, it starts to not even feel like a real word. But that goes for most words, seems like.
物体の量子情報を転送し、別の場所にその物体を再構築するわけだ。
Sounds like a store trick.
信じられないかもしれないが、できるのだよ、現実的に。実証もされている。量子テレポーテーションの理論的基礎となっているのは EPR ペアと呼ばれる概念だ。
The crap is EPR pair. So did it say paper rather than pair? How do I read that? An abbreviation composed of the first letters of the names of three physicists: Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen. These three can't read. These three presented the EPR paper to argue against the concept of the uncertainty principle of quantum mechanics. I'm not so certain about the uncertainty principle. Sounds kind of crazy. This opposition was especially pronounced in the case of Einstein, summed up by his famous remark, "God does not play dice." Although fully recognizing its usefulness, he was known to be uncomfortable with and to oppose quantum mechanics until his death because of its inability to definitely describe the microscopic aspects of physical reality. Einstein conducted many thought experiments that criticized quantum mechanics and troubled his opponent Niels Bohr, one of the founders of quantum mechanics. Wow, we got a lot of these here. What is the uncertainty principle? In quantum mechanics, the uncertainty principle states that regarding a particle's position and momentum, energy and time, and other pairs of physical properties, one cannot accurately measure and determine both pairs simultaneously. Maybe you did say EPR pair then. The uncertainty relationship, which states that the product of the uncertainty of the two values cannot be smaller than a fixed proportion of Planck's constant holds true. It is derived by Werner Heisenberg in 1927. Okay. I can't read tonight, seriously. A paper published by Albert Einstein, Boris Podolsky, and Nathan Rosen, also known as the EPR paradox. When I started playing these visual novels, I had no clue I was going to be having to read this type of stuff about quantum physics and stuff that's way over my head. I was going to be reading like, I don't know what I thought I was going to be reading. I was fixed to say science fiction, but then again, this is a lot of science, so I guess it does make a lot of sense. Presents a thought experiment that is extremely critical of quantum mechanics and was originally published by Einstein and his co-authors as an attack on it. Ironically, it ended up having the opposite effect, became the best material for deepening one's understanding of the field. Details of the experiment are as follows. According to quantum theory, when two particles are created at some location by the same event, they share a certain kind of state. For example, a stationary pi meson decays into two photons traveling in opposite directions, but both members of the photon pair are represented with a single Schrödinger equation. Quantum theory states that as long as they aren't observed, the particles can be expressed by the same equation forever. So even if one of them flies a long distance away, if you observe some information about it, such as spin or polarization, then you should know the state of the particle that remained behind. But at the moment that you observe one particle, the wave function of the other particle collapses accordingly, appearing as if the measured information had been instantly transmitted from one to the other. The EPR paper argues that this is a violation of causality. However, modern quantum mechanics has successfully come up with the proper explanation, and experimental results that support it have been published one after another. Yeah, that all makes sense. Mostly.
EPR ペアとは一度の操作で同時に発生させた2つの粒子に生じる特徴のこと。
Let's read another tip. This is Science Hour with Shook, seriously. I really hope somebody learns something from this. Hopefully me. As an example of an established method, the following procedure exists. When the UV laser beam interacts with a crystal of nonlinear optical material such as barium borate, each single photon splits into two other photons with long wavelengths. These split photons travel along the contours of two cones that in turn are symmetric about the initial beam. The points where the contours of the two cones intersect have photons in a state of entanglement, which is a Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones movie, right? I'm sure it has something really relevant to do with this. I.e., there is no distinction as to the origins there. What is known about these entangled photons is that their polarization is mutually orthogonal. However, it is impossible to definitely know their respective deflection angles. I think I butchered that horribly. This method of creating entangled photons is called parametric down conversion. I really wish this was Inamoto talking about this. As an example of an established method, the following procedure exists. When the UV laser beam interacts with a crystal of nonlinear optical material such as barium borate, each single photon splits into two other photons with long wavelengths. These split photons travel along the contours of two cones that in turn are symmetric about the initial beam. I just read that. Where's entanglement? It's like that sound. Oh wow, we're falling down a ladder here. A form of quantum superposition. Oh man, sorry about reading that twice. Refers to a situation in which a system of several quantum bits, in accordance with the laws of quantum mechanics, forms an inseparable state and behaves as if it were a single entity. Now, I'm realizing that quantum leap was very similar. It's kind of the same thing to this, where you just kind of Did he kind of just phase into... Like, it's been a long time since I watched that. I was a kid when I watched that. Probably like 7 or 8. But didn't he like zap into people's bodies? I think say... Yeah, he did do this, didn't he? I was going to say he kind of just phased into existence there, but I think he actually kind of took over people's bodies, didn't he? To do whatever he had to do. Kind of wanted to go back and watch that show now. Thanks a lot, Remember11. You make me want to go watch Quantum Leap. Just to know what it's talking about. So it sounds like a show I'd really enjoy. Wasn't much into science fiction when I was like 7 or 8. Refers to a new unit of information content, different from the classical bit. Information represented by a binary digit, 0 off or 1 on, used in modern computers. Von Neumann machines, a physical state in which 0 and 1 overlap. A quantum superposition is treated as an operational unit, also known as a qubit. Computers that use them are called quantum computers, and are capable of carrying out very fast calculations, massively parallel computation. I think we're gonna knock out all the tips tonight, all of them, every tip. A computer which creates a superposition of 2 states as a single element and performs calculations using both states. A von Neumann computer can only perform a single calculation per element. Those Neumann. Because of this, if there are 10 elements, the number of calculations it can perform simultaneously rises to 2 to the 10th power. 1024. Yeah, that is 2 to the 10th power. Yeah, that is what the... Yeah, if it's a 3, it'd be squared. If it's a 2, it'd be squared. If it's 3, it'd be cubed. That means to the 10th power. I think that's what that means. I didn't do that great at algebra either, but it was a B, though. Until I got into college. Don't ask about that. As more elements are added, the computational power grows dramatically. The speed this computer boasts of can truly be wondrous. Maybe I should ask this computer to read all of this for me.
この双子の粒子は不思議な運命を共有することになる。簡単に言ってしまえば、その双子の粒子はどんなに離れていようとも、一方を観測することによって生じた影響がもう一方に瞬時に伝わってしまうのだ。たとえ、両者が1万光年もの距離を隔てていてもね。つまり高速を超えて伝達すると。そう。もっとも実際は双子の粒子は個別に考えるのではなく、ひとまとめにして捉えなくてはならないからというわけなのだ。さて、この概念を踏まえて説明を続けよ
う。Enomoto pushed his sunglasses up again and turned back to the keyboard.
テレポーテーション。つまり、ある地点のものを別の地点へと転送するわけだから、送信側と受信側がいることになる。便宜上、送信側をアリス、受信側をボブと呼ぶことにしよ
う。Okay. The sender Alice and the receiver Bob. That's the tilt. Is there? I have a game, a computer game that I got off Steam when it was on sale. It seemed like it had something to do with Alice and Bob. So, oops. I'm actually gonna have to look that up and see what exactly that is. It's kind of an adventure game, point-and-click adventure game, if I remember right. It's supposed to be pretty good. In cryptography, the one conveying the information is commonly referred to as Alice, while the recipient is referred to as Bob. This naming convention was first used in 1978 article presenting the RSA crypto system. Additionally, a person found to be intercepting communications, i.e. through a bug or wiretap between Alice and Bob, is customarily referred to as Eve. Okay. The guy who's listening to a bugger wiretap is called Eve. What about the guy who's sitting next to him eating a donut? The guy's name, is that guy's name Bob or Rob or something?
ではアリスからボブに量子テレポーテーションを用いて情報を送信する手順をお見せする。
I'll bring a keyboard and Enomoto pulled up an image on the monitor.
まず EPR ペアの共有。EPR ペアの発生源から絡み合いの状態にある粒子 B と粒子 C をアリスとボブが共有できるように送り込む。
Well, he has all this stuff on his computer to demonstrate to Satoru how to do this because I'm assuming that Alice is Kokoro and Bob is Satoru. Just assuming. So that would be what it would really look like.
次に粒子 A の受信。
Or maybe this is you know, for just whenever he has to explain something, he has this quantum teleportation for dummies program on his computer to help explain it. What if that is the case and Satoru and Kokoro are not the only ones having this thing done? He's like constantly having to do this with people.
ボブに
Well, I
送
think
信
he
したい
dies.
情
I
報
think he's the guy who
を
dies,
った
so
粒子 A をアリスが
guess
受
we
信
won't
す
have
る。
to worry about that. In the state of cactus
一
to
般
Bob,
にアリス
okay?
にとっては夫妻がどんな情報かはわからない。もし分かってしまうと波動関数が壊れてしまうからだ。
Oh, it's filling in. Okay. The wave function is a function of space coordinates and time that describes the current state of a particle. It satisfies the Schrödinger equation. I can't say that word tonight. Possibly ever. And possibly the Dirac equation. Improves the wave property of quantum particles. From the square of its absolute value, it can give the existing probability of a particle. In this sense, the wave function is referred to as a probability amplitude, or as the probability amplitude. I don't think I'm in any state to be talking about science tonight.
またアリスが粒子 A を受信するタイミングは粒子 B と合わせる必要がある。次はベル測定。
Let's go find what the bell measurement is because I'm sure it's great. Was that it? That wasn't it. A method of placing an isolated pair of particles in an entangled state, and then observing both of them at the same time in a way that doesn't permit them to be distinguished from each other. In order to maintain entanglement, since the particles must be passed through a beam splitter, such as a half-silvered mirror, at exactly the same time, this is extremely difficult in practice.
アリスは粒子 A と粒子 B との間でベル測定と呼ばれる特別な測定を行う。簡単に言ってしまえば2つの状態間のパラメータを測るということだ。この時アリスの得られる情報はベル状態、つまり A と B とで絡み合った4つのそれぞれ異なった量子論的な状態であって、粒子 A の情報プサイを得ることはない。なおこの状態はそれぞれ理論上すべて同じ確率で、その確率は4分の1ずつとなる。4つのうちのどれかというわけだ。そして粒子 A のテレポーテーションが行われる。アリスがベル測定を行った瞬間に粒子 A、B の区別はなくなり EPR ペアの状態が破壊される。それと同時にボブ側の EPR 状態は部分的に収縮し、 情報プサイが粒子 C に移動する。ただしボブはベル測定の結果をアリスから知らされるまでは意味のある情報への変換の仕方がわからない。その次はベル測定の結果の送信だ。アリスが得たベル測定の結果をボブに送信する。この時の通信手段は一般的には電話などの古典通信、高速以下の通信が使われる。最後に量子情報の変換。ボブは知らされたベル測定の結果を利用して粒子 C の量子的な情報にユニタリ変換。
Just making sure there's no jelly brains coming out of my ears there. In a unitary space, a linear transformation which preserves the value of the Hermitian inner product of two arbitrary vectors before and after the transformation. Suppose we denote the adjoint of an n by n matrix m as the m, then the m is unitary as if it is a complex valued square matrix. Fulfilling the equation m times m, I think, equal m star e equals e, where e is the identity matrix of order n. I am so sorry to people who are smarter than me. I so apologize for it.
すなわち波動関数の情報を損なわない操作を施す。
I mean, I'm getting bits of it, but all of it not quite.
その結果、ボブ側にアリスが送りたかった情報プサイが再現される。こうしてようやく意味のある情報がボブに転送されたという。以上が量子テレポーテーションの主な流れだ。この中では EPR は2段構造となっているが、理論上は何段階でも構わない。アリスの隣にアリス2、アリス3、アリス N と任意に設置できる。簡単に説明するとこんなところかな。
Well, that was so simple, even not really. I'm sure you probably did say it very simplistic.
量子テレポーテーションは
Class said,
人間
I
などは
don't
転送させ
understand
る
it.
ことはできず、光子や原子といった微粒子のみの転送しかできないと言われていた。だが私の属している企業によって開発された技術がそれを可能にした。
Business enterprise. Is this a Star Trek reference? I haven't read it all yet, but that sounds very familiar. Perhaps. You know what? I think we'll read about this tip in the next episode. One, because this is approaching 30 minutes. Two, because I need to give my brain a few minutes to calm down. And three, so I can take a breath. So I do hope you guys enjoyed. And, wow, we are still in the same scene as we began. That's awesome. 10 days, that's how long it was since the last... Oh yeah, it was Sunday morning, or Monday morning when I did it. But yeah, that's the end of it. I do sincerely hope everybody enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Farewell there, folks.